So today's lesson covers Article 7 until Article 10 of the Family Code. So Article 7 enumerates the persons who are allowed to solemnize marriage. Number 1 is any incumbent member of the judiciary. Number 2 is your religious solemnizing officers or the priest, rabbi, imam, or minister of any church or religious sect. Take note ha, meron itong conditions. Number 3, you have the ship captain or the airplane chief. Number 4, you have the military commander. Number 5, you have the consul general, consul or vice consul. And lastly is you have the mayors. The basis of your mayors is not the family code but the local government code. So, again, just like I said, take note of the conditions when it comes to religious solemnizing officers kasi dyan nanggagaling ang mga tanong. Hindi naman simple ang tanong na sasabihin lang, can you please enumerate all the solemnizing officers? Better if it's that way, no? Pero usually, they tweak it and then they get it from the requisites or from the requirements. So what are the requisites for the priest, rabbi, imam, or minister to solemnize marriage? Number 1 is he must be duly authorized by his respective church or sect, and take note that that authority must be in writing or it must be a written authority. Number 2, that written authority must be duly registered with the Civil Register General. Bakit pumasok tong requirement na to? Again, take note that the state is deeply interested with the marriage, yung solemnization of marriage, yung pag-end or pag-dissolve ng marriage, very much interested ang ating pamahalaan dyan, ang state, papasok sila dyan. Because again, your marriage is the foundation of the family and family is the foundation of the nation. Kaya kailangan mong irehistro yan sa isang government agency. Next, the priest, rabbi, or imam must act within the limits of his written authority. And number 4, at least one of the contracting parties must belong to that church or sect of the religious solemnizing officer. Let's go to MCQ. A religious solemnizing officer is authorized to solemnize a marriage if, what are the choices here? He is verbally authorized. He is duly authorized in writing. He is appointed by the local government, or he is a member of the judiciary. The answer is letter B. Again, yung authority niya must not be a verbal authority but rather a written authority. And hindi pwedeng letter C because the question is about a religious solemnizing officer. And yung sa local government, you cannot be appointed because only mayors are allowed. Members of the judiciary are allowed, but only if you are an incumbent member of the judiciary and you are acting within the territorial jurisdiction. I want you to look at this. Ito yung sa Philippine Statistics Office, Solemnizing Officers Information System. Di ba requirement kanina doon that you have to be registered with the Civil Register General? Before, parang ang hirap, parang kailangan mo pang pumunta para malaman kung yung solemnizing officer mo has that authority or registered. But right now, mas madali na because all you have to do is just go to your computer or laptop or you can go to your cell phone and then isa-search mo dun yung solemnizing officers. And then you will see this, like for example, you will type tagle. So makikita mo na doon na maraming tagle. So pag sinearch mo yung specific person, if he has that authority, makikita mo kung nag-expire na ba yung license niya, Siya ba yung si Tagle talaga na nakarehistro or wala siyang registration at all? That means that he has no authority at all. So in that way, madaling ma-identify, and that could be a ground for your nullity of marriage. So a religious solemnizing officer must act only when both contracting parties belong to his church or sect within the limits of his written authority based on personal discretion regardless of written authority without needing to register his authority with the civil register general. The answer here is he must act within the limits of his written authority. Again, hindi both contracting parties must belong. Ang kailangan lang ng batas is at least one. And you cannot act on your personal discretion. You have to act within the limits of your written authority, and you have to register again your authority with the Civil Registrar General. A religious solemnizing officer can perform a marriage ceremony if what are the choices? Both contracting parties belong to a different religious sect. At least one of the contracting parties belongs to his church or sect. The couple requests a non-religious ceremony. The ceremony is held outside his sect's place of worship. The answer here is letter B. Kakasabi pa lang natin, isa lang. At least one of the contracting parties belong to his church or sect. Itong letter C and letter D, we will be touching this topic when we go to Article 9 yata or Article 10 that is included in the discussion. Let's go to your ship captain or airplane chief pilot. They are also allowed to solemnize marriage but with conditions. Merong mga requisites, and the requisites are: number 1, the marriage must be in articulo mortis. What is articulo mortis? That is at the point of death. And number 2, the marriage must be between passengers and or crew members. So pwedeng both pasaheros, si bride and si groom are both pasaheros, or si bride ay isang pasahero, si groom ay isang crew member, or pwedeng si bride ay crew member, si groom ay isang crew member. So such authority may be exercised not only while the ship is at sea or the plane is in flight, but also during stopovers at ports of call. What is our basis? Where did we get the requisites? This is your Article 31 of the Family Code. So pag pumunta kayo dun banda sa Article 31, these are the marriages exempt from marriage license. So a marriage in articulo mortis, take note palagi articulo mortis between passengers or crew members may also be solemnized by a ship captain or by an airplane pilot not only while the ship is at sea or the plane is in flight, but also during stopovers at ports of call. So this is your basis of the requirements. So MCQ, under what condition can a ship captain or airplane chief pilot officiate a marriage? Letter A, when the marriage is in articulo mortis. Letter B, when the ship or plane is in international waters or space, or when both parties are crew members only. What is the answer here? The answer is when the marriage is in articulo mortis. Letter B is wrong because, again, just like we said, you can exercise, or the ship captain or airplane chief pilot can officiate the marriage not only when the ship is at sea or the plane is in flight, but also during stopovers or ports of call. And letter C, it is not between crew members only, because you can officiate a marriage between passengers and or crew members. Who can get married under the authority of a ship captain or airplane chief pilot? Oh, sinagot pa lang natin. So, you can answer this already. The answer is letter C. Passengers and or crew members. When can a ship captain or airplane chief pilot exercise the authority to officiate a marriage? Letter A, the letter A choice is only while the ship is at sea or the plane is in flight. Is this correct? Or only during emergencies at sea or in the air? Or letter C, while at sea, in flight, or during stopovers at ports of call? And letter D, only when the ship or plane is in international territory. So, ang sagot dito, dapat alam nyo na it's letter C. Hindi letter A ha, kasi yung letter A, that's kulang. Dapat isama nyo yung during stopovers at ports of call. Let's go to military commanders of a unit. So what are their requisites? Number 1 is he must be a commissioned officer. Dapat kinomission ka. Or you are an officer in the armed forces holding rank by virtue of a commission from the president. Number 2, the assigned chaplain to his unit must be absent. Number 3, again, same ng requirement dun sa ship captain. The marriage must be in articulo mortis. Number 4, the marriage must be solemnized within the zone of military operations. And take note that the contracting parties need not be members of the armed forces. They can be civilians. Saan galing ito? Where did we get our requisites? That is your Article 32 of the Family Code. Again, what is Article 32? A military commander of a unit who is a commissioned officer shall likewise have the authority to solemnize marriages in articulo mortis between persons within the zone of military operation, whether members of the armed forces or civilians. So this is the basis of your requisites. So who among the following is authorized to solemnize a marriage under military conditions? Letter A, is it any officer in the armed forces, regardless of rank or commission? B, a non-commissioned officer assigned to a military unit? Or letter C, a commissioned officer or an officer holding rank by virtue of a commission from the President? So, sagot is letter C. Palagi niyong patandaan yung word na commission. He is a commissioned officer. Which of the following conditions must be met for a military commander to solemnize a marriage? The assigned chaplain to the unit must be absent. The marriage must be in articulo mortis or at the point of death. And the contracting parties must be members of the armed forces. So, ano ang tama? Is it letter A, B, or letter C? The answer here is, ang tama lang is itong number 1 and 2. Assigned chaplain to the unit must be absent. Marriage must be in articulo mortis. Number 3 is wrong because contracting parties is not limited to members of the armed forces. It can also include civilians. Kaya mali ang number 3. Where must the marriage be solemnized for a military commander to have the authority to officiate? Ang sagot dito is letter A. Only within the zone of military operations. Let's go to your consul general, consul or vice consul. The requisites is marriage must be celebrated abroad in the country where the consul holds office. And number 2 is marriage must be between Filipino citizens. Where did we get this? This is your Article 10 first sentence. Pag binasa mo yung first sentence ng Article 10, marriages between Filipino, so it must be between Filipino citizens abroad, may be solemnized by a consul general, consul, or vice consul of the Republic of the Philippines. So under what conditions can a consul general, consul, or vice consul solemnize a marriage? Choices are, you have letter A, the marriage must be celebrated abroad in the country where the consul holds office and at least one party must be a Filipino citizen. Is this correct? The answer is wrong kasi ang requirement ng batas is not at least one party but both parties must be a Filipino citizen. Letter B, the marriage must be celebrated abroad and both parties must be Filipino citizen. Letter C, the marriage must be celebrated within the Philippines and one of the parties must be a Filipino citizen. And letter D, the marriage can take place anywhere provided the consul approves it. So, among B, C, and D, ang mas tama is letter B, si letter B, because the requirement again of the law is it must be in the country where the consul holds office and both parties must be Filipino citizens. Si bride and si groom dapat Pilipino. Where must a marriage be celebrated for a consul general, consul, or vice consul to have the authority to solemnize it? Kasasagot pa lang natin, it must be in the foreign country where the consul holds office. Hindi pwedeng sa loob ng Pilipinas kasi ang authority niya is for abroad lang. Kasi ang office is considered as an extension of your Philippine territory. That's why he is allowed to solemnize marriage there. Next, what is the nationality requirement for a marriage to be solemnized by a consul general, consul, or vice consul? Answer, it's letter A. Again, emphasized, both parties must be Filipino citizens. Hindi pwedeng one of the parties must be of the Filipino citizen. Dapat si bride and si groom are both Filipino citizens. So you take note of this ha, kasi baka malito kayo dahil dun sa, what was that? Ship captain or airplane chief, religious solemnizing officers, the requirement there is at least one of the contracting parties belong to the religious sect or the church, di ba? At least one. Dito naman, pagdating sa consul, both parties must be a Filipino citizen. So baka malito kayo sa sobrang dami na pagdating ng exam, sa sobrang dami na ng alalahanin, sa sobrang dami ng binasa. Siyempre, nakakalito nga naman, baka magkabaliktad-baliktad na. Ang ilagay nyo pagdating sa consul is at least one lang. Pagdating naman dun sa religious solemnizing officer, dapat silang dalawa. So, magkabaliktad. So, take note of that. During which period did mayors not have the authority to solemnize marriage? Again, we said that mayors under the family code, they are not among the enumeration. Hindi sila kasama. They only have their authority under the local government code. But take note that between August 3, 1988 and until January 1, 1992, mayors do not have the authority to solemnize marriage. Yung August 3, 1988, that is the effectivity of the family code, and yung before January 1, 1992, hindi pa nabibigyan ng authority ang mga mayors under the local government code. So, the local government code took effect after January 1, 1992. So, that is the time, or that was the time where they already have that authority to solemnize a marriage. Before I proceed, again, can I ask all of you to subscribe, Kung tapos na, maraming salamat. Kung hindi pa, please subscribe to my channel, leave your comments, please like, and then, ano pa ba sinasabi dyan? Share to your classmates. So let's go to Article 8, Family Code. The marriage shall be solemnized publicly. So that is the requirement of the law. Where can you solemnize it publicly? Kung ang nagkasal sa inyo is the judge, then it in his chamber or in open court. Kung ang nagkasal sa inyo is yung priest, rabbi, imam, or minister, then in his church, chapel, or temple. If pag nagkasal sa inyo naman is si Consul General, Consul, or Vice Consul, then in his office, as the case may be, and not elsewhere. So again, marriage shall be solemnized publicly among in any of these enumerated places and not elsewhere. But take note that this is only a general rule kasi merong exception. And the exception is in cases of marriages contracted on the point of death or in remote places in accordance with Article 29 of this code. And second is when both parties request the solemnizing officer in writing, in which case the marriage may be solemnized at a house or place designated by them in a sworn statement to that effect. Kaya meron kayong nakikitang mga beach wedding, mga mountain wedding, o di kaya yung wedding sa loob ng restaurant or sa wedding sa loob ng bahay nila. Because this is one of the exception. As long as the parties, both parties request the solemnizing officer in writing. So where should a marriage be solemnized? What did we answer here? Is it in a church, court, chapel, temple, or consular office? Or can it be at a shopping mall or on a public beach without permission or anywhere without any formality? So the answer is letter A. Pwede naman sana ang shopping mall as long as there is a request, written request, and public beach is also allowed. Again, dapat merong written request, dapat merong permission, hindi yung without permission. And anywhere is allowed as long as you comply with the requirement para pumasok ka dun sa exception. What must the couple submit to have their marriage solemnized at a location of their church? The answer here is letter B, a sworn written statement to the solemnizing officer. Hindi pwedeng verbal lang ha. Hindi pwedeng magsasabi ka lang ng, Father, doon na lang sa bahay namin. According to Article 8, what is not an approved location for a marriage? What is the answer? The answer is letter C. Letter C. Kasi walang written approval. Pwede ang barangay hall as long as merong request, written request. Ang judge chamber, of course, we said that is a loud registered church, office of the Consul General. So the answer should be letter C. Let's go to Article 9. Article 9 is a marriage license shall be issued by the local civil registrar of the city or municipality where either contracting party habitually resides. Exception is in marriages where no license is required in accordance with Chapter 2 of this title. So who issues a marriage license? Is it the barangay captain, the local civil registrar of the city or municipality, where either hindi both party resides, the mayor of the city or the head of the church? The answer is letter B. Again, ipasok natin yung pagiging interesado. The state is very much interested or deeply interested with the marriage. Kaya babalikan mo palagi, nature, consequences, and incidents of marriage are governed by law. Kaya pumapasok palagi ang gobyerno. Kaya yung marriage license, you have to apply it in the local civil registrar of the city or municipality kung saan kayo nakatira. Next, where should a couple apply for a marriage license? Answer is, inulit lang natin para to give emphasis, in a city or municipality where at least one of them habitually resides. Hindi pwede yung kung saan mo gusto ha, kung saan mo lang feel, mas feel kung mag-file sa Baguio. Kasi meron kasi yung requirement na ipapublish, ipopost para yung mga nakakakilala sa'yo, sino ba ang nakakakilala sa'yo, kundi yung mga kapitbahay mo or yung nasa loob ng community mo. Yung mga nakakilala sa'yo, they can object kasi sasabihin nilang, parang alam kong may asawa na yan. Ang alam namin is meron na yan, mga anak. Bakit magpapakasal yan ngayon? So, that is one of the purposes. It cannot be also in a foreign embassy unless this is a marriage that will be solemnized by a consul general or vice consul or your consul. In the church they attend, hindi rin pwede because we are talking about a marriage license. What happens if a marriage is contracted without a required marriage license? What is the answer here? I think you should know this because we already discussed. This is your article 4 yata. 4, yung what is the effect if there is an absence in a formal requisite. And a marriage license is a formal requisite. Therefore, the answer should be the marriage will be void if there is no marriage license unless it falls under the exceptions provided by law. Let's go to Article 10. Article 10, nabasa na natin yung first sentence, yung marriages between Filipino citizens abroad may be solemnized by a consul general, consul, or vice consul of the Republic of the Philippines. Second sentence is the issuance of the marriage license and the duties of the local civil registrar and of the solemnizing officer with regard to the celebration of marriage shall be performed by said consular official. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Kung nasa abroad kayo at mag-a-apply kayo ng marriage license, hindi naman pwedeng uuwi pa kayo ng Pilipinas para lang mag-apply ng marriage license because the requirement is it must be in the city where any of you lives, di ba? So, ang role ngayon ng embassy is papasok sila. They can issue that marriage license for you. So, hindi mo na kailangang umuwi ng Pilipinas. So, under Article 10, which of the following must both contracting parties be? At least one must be a Filipino citizen or both must be Filipino citizens. At least one must be a permanent resident abroad or both must be foreign citizen. The answer here is letter B. Letter B. Again, kailangan silang dalawa ay Filipino. Iuulit-ulitin ko to ha para talagang matandaan nyo. Pagdating sa priest, rabbi, imam, or minister, or your religious solemnizing officers, isa lang ang requirement doon. At least one of the contracting parties must belong to that religious sect or church. Pagdating naman sa consul general, kailangan silang dalawa. Both must be Filipino citizens. What role does the consular officer play in the marriage process? You should know this. I already discussed this. What's the answer? They can issue the marriage license and act at the same time as the solemnizing officer. They can only register the marriage but cannot officiate it. Is this correct? They can approve marriages only if requested by a judge. They can act as a witnesses but not as a officiant. Tama ba yan? That's mali because the answer here is letter A. Again, yung ating mga consular office, they can do the work of a local civil registrar. Therefore, they can issue the marriage license. At the same time, they can act as the solemnizing officer. So this is the end of our discussion of Articles 7 until Article 10. See you in the next video.